Howdy, folks. Welcome back. This is the wrong intro video. I'm so pissed at YouTube. These guys, man. All right. Welcome back, folks. I told you I'd be back. Now, what's wrong with my mount here? Oh, great. All right, hang on just 1 second here. I'll make an adjustment. Let's see how well that'll work here. There we go. Something a miss there. All right. Okay. Well, welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, here we go. May 21st, 2024. While this is loading up, I'd like to thank you all for taking a moment of your time, your precious time, to be here with this precious family. A little irritated. I went through all this process of getting that intro, and then I come back to my computer and something else is on that now. I just love how they go right on in and help themselves around in your computer. Wonderful. Okay, now, while I'm getting over this, here's your loop playing. Not a lot of activity going on the sun today. As you can see, pretty quiet there. Let's come on over to the solar ham. Zoom into this. All right, as you can see, kind of a little, it looks like a bumpy day right here, kind of. And, well, the satellite did not cooperate with the X-ray flux. So not all the time do these two match up, but as you can see, here's your little bumpy day there. And then all of a sudden we've had this little event right here. Let's go back and take a peek at it. So frustrating getting all this stuff set up and then have the computer wipe it all out and have to reset it up. All right, here's your event right here, and this one as well going into the next day there, and then there's something streaking through there. All right, there we go. Something right there, the Uhura Mazda ship or whatever, something streaking through there. As you can see, some round object right here coming out, maybe right here, actually. That one's a little hard to tell. Coming over it. All right, there's your activity for today. Boom. Not much. Good. It's good. We don't need a bunch of X-flares hitting us in the face right now. It's good that we have a little break like this. All right, you can see our solar indices have lowered. We're down below 200. We're at 191 now, so it's kind of lowered. That's good. So as this other one's lowered. Still a lot of area, but that doesn't matter. Our geomagnetic forecast for the next 3 days is all green, all zeros, okay? So we're not expecting any kind of geomagnetic storm in the next few days, which is good. Just this M flare right here was a 2.3, and it was out of area 60 or 3683. Okay, which is that one right there. It's not even one of these beta gamma ones, supposedly. There's our KP. Been underneath 3 for this whole time, and only peaked at 3 right there. So not a lot of energy coming in, but being absorbed. So that's good. Let's see here. Okay, so and then our auroras are really weak right now. Let me back out real quick here. So you can see they're really faint right now, which is good. We don't need a big old solar storm. We've had enough of that for a minute. The Earth needs to recuperate after all that. So let's get into this really quick. A large solar filament, is currently stretching across the southeast quadrant. It's so long that it measured over 350,000 kilometers in length and is transitioning into a prominence off of the southeast limb. Oh, so everybody's transitioning, including the sun. It's transitioning into a prominence off the southeast limb. Look at this thing sticking off here. Probably something out here, maybe. Latching onto that. We'll see here. Okay. Every now and then, these plasma-rich features can become magnetically unstable and collapse, leading to an odd-shaped coronal mass ejections. For now, it remains anchored in place. Anchored in place, huh? Maybe because there's an object just anchored in place, causing this stuff to be pulled off like that. A look at the visible sunspot regions on Tuesday, May 21st, of all of which happen to be located in the southern hemisphere now. Occasional C flares have been detected so far today, with the majority of them being centered around AR 3683, which is. Whoa, clear over here. This one way over here on the edge, just about to leave the limb right there. Okay, so there is currently a 55% chance for an isolated moderate M flare with 3685 listed as the most likely candidate. And that one will be right there in the middle. Bingo. Okay, so most likely something out of this one here. No large coronal mass ejections were observed today, so that's good. We don't even need to check the tracker really. So let's move on. Kind of get to the meat of this show here. Get through this real quick. Venus and Jupiter coverage. If this were happening in the night sky, it would be the headline astronomy news. The two brightest planets, Venus and Jupiter, are converging for a tight conjunction. Tomorrow, they will be just a fraction of a degree apart, like a Christmas star in May. Like a what? Christmas star in May. Unfortunately, it's happening in broad daylight. Okay, the planets are converging next to the sun, where the glare is blindingly bright, so only Soho can see the show. Coronagraphs on board the spacecraft create an artificial eclipse, revealing stars, planets, and CMEs. All right. Roars in Africa. Let's move on. Question: if you are the Messiah, what is your rod of iron? You will soon find out. Here we go. You can see our grinding event that happened right here. This is made out of iron. Kind of like a rod. You'll see. Anyways, you can see we've had a grinding event right here, and pressure built up down at the core. The core and the shell at the barrier there start expanding into each other. We get some grinding going on, and then we got a little relief. We had some, pressure relieved, either earthquake or volcano, and then you see it taper off, get really weak right there for a second, and then come back to life. And then here on this latest strip right there, let me refresh real quick. There we go. You can see big old bright white stripe all the way down. That's intense frequencies starting from 0 going all the way off the page to 40 hertz right here, and probably even more. Okay, so great question too. I love that. Then, so right here, as you can tell, with this severe grinding going very ballistic, not just a small one, this is a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure is built up right now, both core and shell. So your ears are ringing and might be experiencing some pain. People have different effects, they say, from this, but I know the effects I have from it. So, and then it makes your animals act a little strange as well too, because that's your planet's magnetic field going haywire, and all the animals detect this as well. So let's get on over here to our upper jet stream here. And let's let the wind play, and you can see how we have it's basically cold air coming down from British Columbia, swooping in, mixing with this warmer southern Pacific moisture right here, colliding right over there, right over that part of the country, in the middle part of the country right there. Okay, so let's back out of this and go down to the lower jet stream here, and you can see the effects from the upper jet to the lower jet, causing this. And look what's going on here. Right here seems to be some kind of small little bulge effect right there. Sphere type effect right there that I was talking about. Not as drastic as we've seen the other last couple of nights. In fact, you know what we could do here? I wonder if it was more computer. Okay, so it's not cooperating there. Something kind of there though, you can see changing the flow of air. Okay, now let me get back to pull this back. All right, so now getting down to the weather. You can see this big old storm front up here has pulled its whole tail is draping all the way down. We got moisture coming out of the Gulf coming right up in here, mixing with this cold air bleeding down, and this thing just spinning, pulling it all up and pulling it all together there. Let me pull this down a little bit and zoom out. You can see this big old rotation off the coast hasn't moved for a minute. It's been there for a couple of days now, just sitting there, not really moved inland. So we have this effect that's kind of stood still for a second. Now, also look up here, coming off of Siberia and the Kamchatka Peninsula up there. We got some other storms out there. So now let's get down to our particulates, some sandstorm activity. All right, look at Africa. The northern part of Africa is still just one big, huge sandstorm. Coming over here to Saudi Arabia, a little bit right in there. Going over through this region, going over the Gobi Desert. We got this huge plume still. So as we kind of back out and look around, you can see our 3, maybe 4 different sandstorms going on right now. And then this sand gets blown across the Atlantic, deposits all over South America, and then our currents too. Air currents have been pulling it up into the Gulf and pulling it up into the country. These big old storms like this pull air. So when we get big rotation up here, it almost acts like a vacuum and sucks stuff up into the tail of it. So as you can see, it's reaching and pushing the sand all the way over here. See these currents right here? It's going to turn and go right up into the storms. Part of it's getting pulled off and heading back out into the Atlantic right there. So, okay. But obviously something major wrong going on. Major sandstorm since November of last year. Okay. That's a 6-month-long sandstorm now. So all through the winter, something's wrong. The planet's screaming something's wrong. All right, now we need to get on over to, let's do our chemicals first. Bing, and some SO2. We'll take off the gas. All right, let's come on over to America here. America. And as you can tell, we got the country divided. One side bleeding out, and the other side kind of a little patchy and speckled. Okay, definitely getting a lot darker in this region as well. So pressure's on, from down below. A little darker through here. Let's go into our fulcrum point. Well, now the fulcrum point itself isn't so prominent. All 4 of them. It's just like one big blur right there, okay? Even this new little 5th spot, this is even like almost a closer fulcrum point. So we've got this region now that's usually just this one spot, and these ones flare up occasionally. But when all four of them are nice and dark like that, that's how you can really tell that we've gotten a lot of pressure. And now we've got a new perforation, a new little spot right there, a little closer. So five little spots right there. And then as we go down the coast, you can see the coast is all dark purple going down through there. So a lot of pressure coming out of that region, a lot of gas being relieved right there. And this is like a relief valve right here for South America, too. All this pressure being released right here is keeping big quakes from happening on these plate boundaries right there. So that's kind of good. It's the Earth's little defense mechanism of dealing with this inbound pressure. This coming pressure comes in. Whoops, there. If it'll work. Hello, anybody home there? Oh, I guess it did work. All right. So their pressure's getting pretty widespread throughout up in here now too, and through South and North Korea. Here's the island of Taiwan. It's got SO2 coming out of it as well. Okay, so our relief valve here, where we have our earthquakes and our fulcrum point earthquakes and everything, is also spewing SO2 as well. Just across the way here in China, really dark patches. I mean, here's one that just goes jet black. See a little diamond in there. So that's a big perforation in the crust. That's a big hole right there. And it's letting out a lot of gas in that region. Let's come down to Java. Our little relief valve over here. You can see these two volcanoes right here just going off. Not as much as we had seen before, but still pretty dark in these two spots. The rest of the island's kind of lightened up a little bit. It seems like these two have taken over as the main relief spot right there, at least. And then let's take a little peek at Europe. Oh, also, let's do, I want to do this. Go back here, put ours back on our time, and then see the fires. We got fires on? Okay. Well, nothing going on up at this one. And these have all quieted down too, so that's good. So right now, no fires at these spots, but sometimes when we get pressure built up like that, you see this human grind in here. That means we got a lot of pressure built up. It'll cause these it'll cause some of these places to get fires. These hot spots, these really dark spots right here, a fire or a couple of them will pop up around there when we get a big bulge of pressure. Okay, so there's your SO2 report. Let's come on over to this one. Ugh, wish I hadn't started this one. We can take off the fires as well. Now, ocean. Yes, and there we go. Okay, as you can see, we have a lot of hot water anomalies coming off the coast of Japan, all the way down the coast of it. When we came over here to Taiwan, it used to be surrounded by yellow, but after their big quake and flurries of quakes and everything, it relieved pressure in that area. And now it turned from yellow to orange and now back down to red. And as you can see, we have cold water inundating at the tip here, all along here, reaching over here too. So the only little pocket of hot water really is right there. And that might get squeezed out too. So it's showing that our relief valve is relieving a lot of pressure because hot water is not built up here anymore. It's gone. All these other places have hot water built up, but not at Taiwan because they had their quake and it's been our little relief valve, right? So you see cold water right here next to our relief valve. Here's our other relief valve. Notice the cold water next to it. It's not inundated with hot water because it's relieving the pressure in that region. And then we got hot spots growing off the coast of Sumatra there. And as we pull back, you can see all along there. And Tamumasi out here. And then this is our new, our new feature. Last couple of nights, we went back, 2 weeks on the calendar to see, how much it had progressed in 2 weeks or whatever. And this whole thing was just, let's do it real quick. Put that over there so we can get it in the page. All right, you can still see it right there. Now, here's 2 weeks ago from today would be right up there, the second. You notice it's just red with hardly any yellow in it. And then let's go back. Well, 1 week. See that difference? And then to this week. All right, so it's growing in intensity and pretty rapidly too. If that's how quick it did in this last 2 weeks, wonder what we're going to be looking at next week. And it's an indicator also that our pressure is built up. When it's nice and big and yellow like that, that's an indicator that our pressure from down below is reaching up to the underside of the crust and pushing out. This region, surprised we haven't had a quake, big quake in there, but it's probably because we have pressure being released here via the vent on the floor and the hot water that comes out of that region right there. Okay, so there's that. Let's come on over to our earthquake report now. Come over to our deep region. No deep quake here around Fiji for today. Nothing down that part of the system. So entering the system right here, we have a 5 down at 30. Coming up here, we have a 5.3. That's down at 261. Okay, here was this Vanuatu weak spot right here. They had the big quake and the flurries and stuff. So energy didn't pop out right here at our weak spot. It came up here, just a tad bit north. So maybe a possible another spot to watch, because you see this bend right here. This is almost like a fulcrum point. So anything out here was Vanuatu. It's right in the middle. So we'll have to watch this little region right here from this fulcrum point all the way down to the bigger quake. That whole section right there is going to be, it's been very quiet, and we have volcanoes in that area that do relieve pressure, but obviously not enough because we're having a 5.3 and it's down at 261. That's not at the surface. So that's a deep quake. It's not energy being relieved at the surface yet. Coming up here is a 4.0 down at 86. Here's a 5.4 down at 31. Another 5.4 down at 137. Nothing around Java here, but up here by Sumatra. Remember I was showing you a hot spot off of Sumatra? There's a 4.6 down at 25.4. All right, so few of these 5s right there, right there, right there. Mid-range 4s the rest of the way. There's another 4.3 down at 42. Very quiet through this region. There's a 3.9 up there. Here's an odd quake up here, diverse quake. And it's a 3.0 at a depth of 5. So that's a really shallow quake right there. Also, come on down to America and pop on all the magnitudes there. If you look up here, it was really quiet with bigger quakes because we have a lot of micro quake activity up there. So a lot of little small quakes in that region, relieving stress, relieving pressure and energy, coming down through the Juan de Fuca, nothing there. What I was kind of looking at was this up here. 2.6 in Townsend, Montana. And then we still have this little area just outside of Salt Lake City here that's still kind of going here with 1.5. What's that one? 2.2. Okay. Yeah, Thatcher, Utah is a spot to maybe watch right there. And then where else were we looking? Okay. The geysers here, they're doing their thing. You can see their little flurry. That's good. I kind of just want to see the little flurry action. And then our other spots down here don't seem to be too active, but right there was our second spot, and it's only had a 1.3 today. So a lot of microquake activity and not a bunch of big quakes. The ones that we did have are, our mid-range fives. Coming down here now, a 5.2 at a depth of 10, and another 5.2 down at 107 there. A couple of fours here. Mid-range fours. Aha, here's a plate boundary quake. Yep, 5.3 energy being relieved at the surface right there. So as I pull down, we have a 5 here, 5 there, 5 here, 5 there, there. Okay, so a little more 5 activity today. And then here's another diverse quake way up here north of Iceland. But on the plate boundary at a depth of 10, that's a 4.1, relieving energy up here too. So even north of Iceland now, we're seeing energy being relieved up in the northern parts as well. Okay, yep, I think that's it. That's your quake report. Let me close out some of these. Oh, wait. I can get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. We can get rid of that one and the earthquake report. Let me pull up the volcano report now. All right, Lord, please let the volcano page work tonight. Okay. Yay, it looks like we might. Whoops. Did I celebrate too early? Volcanoes today. Thank you. Spinny. There we go. All right. What is wrong with this page today? There we go. All right, so already into the 22nd, we got Luatobi, 7,000 feet. Semeru, 15,000. It's pushing its maximum, so that's your pressure down below, pushing at its maximum. Ducono, 10,000 feet. Popocatépetl, 20,000 feet. Santa Guido, 15,000 feet. Sangay, 20. Reventador, 14.5. Then let's get into the 21st, which was today, which is now yesterday. And Campi Flegrei. Remember, I was just talking about that last night? Yeah. Since 1951 local time yesterday, a seismic swarm has been occurring at Campi Flegrei caldera. Okay, 150 earthquake events have been monitored. Uh-oh. Okay, that's area watch right there. No joke. All right, Suwanosejima, 5,000 feet right there. Ibu, say what? 21? No. 21,000 feet? Huh. Okay, so Semeru, 15,000 feet. 21,000 feet out of Ibu here, huh? Yeah, flight level 21,000 feet. That's pretty high for Ibu there. All right, Semeru 15. Ducono, 10,000. 20,000 at Apopo, Santa Guido 15. I mean, we're just rattling off a bunch of 10,000, 16,000, 15,000, but these are all huge blasts, sending ash way up there. 26 out of Sabancaya. All right, so there's your volcano report. Now let's get on with our weather and our strange weather activity. Okay, so let me go ahead and just load up that, let it play real quick. All right, you got the ticker over on the right there. Yeah, it's one we're going to have to watch. Is Campi Flegrei. It's been overdue for a while. I'm surprised we haven't seen activity out of that the whole time. All right, so our current conditions, nighttime of May 21st. We were talking about this very event last night and how dangerous it was. And I guess we saw a record-breaking tornado today hit what, Green Valley or Greenville, something. So, yeah, not good. And it was a multi-vortex, huge wedge tornado. I was trying to get that in the intro, and I got the wrong video. But anyways, nighttime, the current conditions going into the morning of the 22nd. You people up in Canada, watch out there. Okay, then heavy snow by the noontime up there. Here's your convection, the end of convection. So some up here in northern Canada. We'll have some down here in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas area. And we saw stuff down here today too. It wasn't just all up in Minnesota. The tail was down in here in Texas. We saw activity down there. So just because this map is showing nothing in this area doesn't mean it can't happen now. All right. Then let's go back a little bit. That's the end of convection, then the nighttime of the 22nd. So severe weather in Texas, Arkansas. It could be anywhere in that green blob right there tomorrow night. There's the morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 24th. Look at this thing driving up in there. Noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 25th, noon, convection, nighttime. 26th, noon, convection, nighttime. 27th, noon, convection, nighttime. 28th, look at that back there. So the nighttime of the 27th, everybody in that region, prepare again. It's the 20th. Nighttime. Nighttime, 30th. 31st, noon, convection, nighttime. Look at that. Nighttime of the 31st, possibly. Morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. The 6th, noon, convection, and that was it. So go ahead and let that loop play real quick while I close out some of these other instruments, and we'll get on with our spiritual report now. We did the geoterraphysics, the astrophysics, and now it's time for the metaphysics. So everybody, actually, before we kind of go there, we need to touch base on our new effect, our sphere effect, right? Here it is, been captured now on camera. This is Wisconsin, USA, May 11th, 2024. Our spheroid, electromagnetic spheroid effect that I've been showing you on the radar, captured now by camera. Okay, and it was over Wisconsin. Where do we see weather today? Oh, yeah, up in Wisconsin too, didn't we? So our sphere effect has now been captured on, on film now, or not film, but we've captured the effect now. Electromagnetic, probably inducing, water droplets in the air, the moisture in the air to condense. And then at sunset, the sun hits it, these condensed clouds that are in the shape of a circle because it's the sphere, right? And then the sun hits it and illuminates it. And this is a picture that was caught at sunset on May 11th, 2024. That's just, 11 days ago. Right when I first started showing you this stuff happening here on our radar. These events right here, these circular spheroid nature, yeah, it looks like a dome. Some of them are domes, but you can see we have these spherical effects in our weather now. There's another player in our weather. All right, so there it is there. And then also one more. We captured the first night. I've seen this activity before. I just never captured it. It was back here 11 days ago. See, 11 days ago. So that would put it at May 11th. And we captured this effect on May 11th. All right, today's the 22nd. See down here, it says streamed 11 days ago. So that would be May 11th. Here we have our spheroid effect going on. And on May 11th, here it is captured in another different one in Wisconsin. Okay, so a real effect, real weather effect that's happening now. Whether it's, not HAARP, but, weather manipulation, or it's man, or maybe it's the hand of God doing it. Whatever's doing it, there it is. It's no longer a fantasy, a theory, a glitch on the radar. It's been captured now. It's a real phenomenon. Okay, things are changing and we're having different effects. And where this dome kind of reaches down here, this is when these things are moving across the land. This is where your storm fronts stir up here at the very front. The air goes up and over the top. It gets cold up here. It condenses and turns into rain up there. And then as this thing moves by, the rain tapers off as it goes down the backside and stops raining. These things are out there. They're moving around and manipulating our weather. So there's that. Okay, cool. So I'm so glad I got it. Come on, computer. All right. So let's pull up some other images here to read to. Come on, computer. Hey, Brian. Brian, do you think that could be one of the... Whoops. Come back here. I was trying to read that question. I think it could be one of the effects generated by the Antarctic Neutron Detector Weapon System. Antarctic neutron detector. Okay, so they're detecting neutrons. They're turning around and using those neutrons as but I don't think it's that. I'm pretty sure this is something that's outside our control. And I don't think it's our government doing it to us because it's hitting some very vital sites, we'll say, and doing some damage to some critical governmental sites. And they wouldn't do that to themselves. So it is an outside force that's other than ours because it's like, well, not attacking, but it's, producing storms over some sensitive sites. So I don't think we'd be attacking our own sites and flooding our own bases and destroying our own infrastructure. It's doing it. Maybe if you're paying attention, you'd see that something else is going on here. All right, so I just want to pop over here, check out the Schumann one more time, get us a little fresh data here. All right, so the intense part, look, it was one big blast. Now it's starting to taper off. It's still intense to right about there, right where my arrow is. So we had a big grinding session. Some of it's relieved, and we're still grinding though. Okay, it's still intense right there. So I just wanted to pop over here and take a peek at that before we X out of that. So our electromagnetic sphere effect is been captured now. It does stuff with the weather. It can move weather, direct weather, squash weather, create it more intense. I've seen here. Let's go back to this real quick. You guys are all my usual people. All right, just real quick. You can see this little bumping. This is not a glitch in data. The bigger sphere behind is nudging this one in front. Whoopsie. I didn't do a very good job on capturing that. There we go. It's right in there. If I can manage, there we go. And then you can see it kind of skip. See it push like that? The other sphere back here gave it a little nudge, and just that little nudge increases wind speed by 10, 20 mile an hour, maybe even 30. And that increase in wind speed right there is more than enough to, fire up the storm more intensely. So you see the smaller spheroid effect right here happening with the bigger one up here coming from behind, giving this one a nudge south and down a little faster. And you see how the weather reacts. And then you can see the tail forming off the backside of the bigger sphere back here. Okay, so there's our new weather effect, okay? All right, so now what I wanted to do was, oh yeah. It's just our regular people. We're just going to do this real quick. You guys want to get out of here? I'll just pull up a couple of images here. All right, go. All right, oops, let's go a little bit further. There we go. That's pretty good. So, got that one. We don't need this one anymore. We get rid of that. And let me just pull up the other one real quick. And we'll do a quick reading and then Yeah, a lot of strange dreams. None of them scary, just weird. Yeah. Well, electromagnetic discharge from the Earth, our shields, when they fluctuate, can well give you different dreams and different effects when you're dreaming too. All right, so cool. Kind of bright today. All right, so there's that. You know what? I didn't even have my notes or anything to read tonight. I was basically just gonna do the sphere report. Um, oh, bear with me here. Maybe we'll just skip the reading and do something a little bit different. Yeah, because I didn't get set up in time here. We can do this right here, so. It was just here. There it is. All right, I want to do something here just real quick. So, the very opening of this is it says Jesus in the flesh. So it says Jesus in the flesh. And then it continues on. And we already heard the other part right here where it touches down. He is the Christ who's coming quickly. So let's try to capture that one again.
Oh. Holy fucking shit, guys.
Pardon that guy's French, but he is the Christ who's coming quickly. There were several messages in there. He's here in the flesh, walking right now. He's here right now. So it's important that you guys get a reminder that even the spiritual realm knows that Jesus is walking around in the flesh here on earth right now. The whole universe knows except for the people of Earth. I got a quick reading for you. I'll pull something up here real quick. I have I'm always doing something new in your life. So try to keep an open mind when you encounter things you've not seen before or even imagined. Okay? When we look at this, oh, I already took it down. The spheroid effect, finally captured, is stuff that wasn't even imagined or things that you've not seen before. It's because I'm always doing something new, so try to keep an open mind when you encounter these things that you've not seen before or even imagined. And do not recoil from the unfamiliar without even taking time to determine whether it might be from me. Okay. So sometimes you feel like you're, caught in between one thing and another. You're in between destinations. You're kind of in flight. And at times you may feel as if you're in flight when you experience newness that feels uncomfortable. The temptation is to just criticize the changes and cling to the familiar. Instead of this knee jerk response, come to me in prayer. Tell me your concerns and ask me to help you see the situation from my viewpoint. I am always with you, and I do hold you by your right hand. I guide you with my counsel, helping you discern the best way to respond and go forward. I brought you out into this place. I brought you to this channel. I rescued you because I delighted in you. You are in a spacious place of salvation, saved from being a slave to sin. All right? You are in this spacious place of salvation here at this channel because we're in the salvage industry here, aren't we? We rescue our days. We don't sit there and dwell on the negative. We fight each day to rescue our day from the negative. All right? Always some kind of test hitting you. And we are in the salvage business of salvaging our day as well as shining the light to help others salvage their day. Okay? So, you are in this spacious place of salvation, saved from being a slave to sin, the media, all the backward education that you had your whole life. So, here at this channel is the spacious place of salvation, isn't it? Here, you're being saved from the lying media. Your salvation is the greatest, most lavish gift you could ever receive. Never stop thanking me for this infinitely precious gift. Like in the mornings when you awaken, rejoice that I have adopted you into my royal family. So, before you go to sleep at night, praise me for my glorious grace, and then live in ways that help others see me as the fountainhead of abundant, never-ending life. So praise me in the morning when you wake up. That sets the tone for your day. Okay, and then at night, thank me for all the blessings that you saw along your path that day. It's like a treasure hunt, you guys. There's treasure all over each day. And there's things hiding all over. When you find one and you recognize it's a treasure, thank me, and you will have better feeling inside your heart. You'll feel better inside and mentally too. You'll be a lot stronger. It's you saving your day in that salvage business. Your salvation that you're practicing is one of the greatest, most lavish gifts you could receive. I delight in you not because of worthiness in you. Rather, I chose to delight in you and lavish my love on you. Okay? You're here because I like to lavish my love on you. Okay? Should be comforting when you come here. You should have peace. Even though I show some of the most disturbing information, it should all reimburse your foundation right here. Okay? Remember, it's a loving God. He's got a loving heart. I'll leave that right there for a second too. I delight in you. I like to lavish my love on you. To be able to bring this information to you guys feels good for me. I'm able to help you guys bring peace to you guys, bring joy to you guys, comfort, and that delights me. So I delight in you because you choose to be here. What else do I have for you? We've been over that stuff. Try not to go over the same stuff all the time. Oh, yeah. Each day of life is a precious gift from me. Treat it as the treasure it is prayerfully prioritizing. Treat it as the treasure it is by prayerfully prioritizing. So as you look into the day that stretches out before you, first in the morning, seek my face to help you discern what's most important. Set priorities according to my will. Okay, that's what's hard. Everybody's setting priorities on their own list. They think this is the most important one, that's the most important. Sometimes you got to pray to find out, oh, wait a second, the priorities weren't arranged properly, and it will help you, set your priorities accordingly, according to my will, and then use them to guide you as you go along your day. This practice of doing this will help you make good choices about your use of time and energy. When you reach the end of the day, you can feel at peace about the things you have done and also the things you have not done. So here we have this new revelation. It's the end of the day. When you reach the end of the day, you can feel at peace. A lot of other people can't. They can't sleep at night. They don't feel peace. They're suffering. But you can. And this practice will help you make good choices about the use of your time and energy. And then it's really kind of sounds silly, but everything you do, really, I encourage you to invite me into everything you do. The briefest prayer, like help me, Lord, help me, Jesus, whatever you like to say, okay, whatever feels good to you. Remember, prayer's not a chore. It's supposed to be fun. Okay, so I encourage you to invite me into everything you do with a quick little prayer. Like help me, Lord, is sufficient to involve me in your activities. I delight in your acknowledgement. You get it? I delight in your acknowledgement that you need me continually. And I want you to delight in your neediness. Now, that's hard to do. Okay, it sounds easy, but it's hard to do. I want you to delight in your neediness, for it is a strong link to my presence. I like to give out stuff. Well, what good is it giving it out if nobody needs it, right? So it's your neediness that meets my supply in my presence. So I want you to delight in your neediness because that's the strong link to my presence. If you had everything in the world and life was comfortable, you wouldn't be needing me. Everything would be hunky-dory. It's always your neediness, okay? And that's the link. And I want you to delight in that neediness. I know it's weird, but when you delight in your neediness, you start to view things from a different perspective, and then you live from a different perspective. All right, so that's the link right there, is your neediness. And although living in a dependent mode is countercultural, It is a blessed way to live. Because what happens when culture collapses? And then what are you going to do? Then who are you going to count on? Ah, I see why the need for this now. Living in a dependent mode is countercultural, but once you've learned to do it, it is a blessed way to live. Nope. I think that might be it for tonight. Yeah, I lost a lot of the audience there. One dude's comment, but that's life, you know. Maybe if he stuck around, he would have had his answer or his question answered, huh? But it looks like he kind of took off. But yeah, maybe he'll come back someday and he'll have eyes to see then and ears. He'll have needs then. You know, there'll be something he needs. Then he'll be back and he'll be like, hey, I seen one of these giant faces in the clouds. What the hell's going on? You're the only person that talks about that stuff. He'll be back. Besides, the rest of you guys, I love you all. New insight. Thank you for being here. I love your questions. Let me see what you had there. You know about how radios can pick up the pops and cracks from the lightning storm. Yes. And sometimes I feel like I'm a receiver picking up effects from a spiritual storm. Yes. Little do you know that your brain is emitting all kinds of brain waves. You're a walking transmitter. Everywhere you go, you are transmitting. Whoopsie, what happened here? I don't want that up there. And I'm trying to read this. So, yeah, you not only a transmitter, but you're a receiver too. And when you're walking around, electromagnetic stimuli affects your brain different ways. Okay, and for instance, when they sent some astronauts up into space, they didn't know about the Schumann resonance. They didn't know that they needed that frequency. So they sent them up into space without providing a 7.83 frequency, and the astronauts lost their minds and started attacking each other. They got violent and they started to, well, they killed each other. Because you need that 7.83 hertz to, well, that's what your brain operates at. And when that frequency gets disturbed, it disturbs your thinking. It can cloud your thinking. It could make you sluggish, lethargic, painful. So yeah, you're welcome for the reading. I didn't pick out, I always try to pick my stuff according to the day, what happened to me today. I go through my notes. I try to find what applied. And today I was all over the place and I don't even know where to start. So I just kind of opened up a couple things and found some, but otherwise, I love you guys. See that heart right there? I love you guys. Here, let's get up in there. Wait. Where's the better shot? A little further back here. I want to see this heart. Dang it. There we go. That's a real image, and that should reassure you a little bit. That's what this is about. The world's crazy right now, and you need some reassurance. You need somebody to comfort you. That's what I am. I'm the comforter. Said I will send a comforter, somebody to comfort you in these times. Okay, because I know how you're feeling. I know the headlines can make a person get a little anxious, anxiety, fear, trepidation, all that. So it's important that at the end of the show, after we see all this disturbing stuff and in the news, we see the disturbing stuff, that we realize it's all for a reason. It's all for a purpose. You have a meaning to life. If you're at this channel, you're a child of God. If you want to be, that's up to you. It's your willingness. And we got good reasons here. I mean, these are real images. You got good reason. And you got nothing to lose either. Everything to gain and nothing to lose. You know, it's like rooting for the good guys. You know, everybody rooting for the villain in these movies these days. They glorify the villain and not the good guy anymore. I remember the old days, our movies, it was the good guy who always won. Now it's how nasty of a villain can you create in Hollywood. So we've lost that good guy mentality. And it's much needed today, especially in this society. No more heroes anymore. No one you can trust. Well, it tells you in the Bible, when that happens, there is one person you can trust. There is one thing you can trust. The way, the truth, the life. That's what you can trust. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. That should scream volumes. It should make you want to jump up and down and rejoice, knowing that if you are here and you see me coming in the clouds, you are caught up and you're enthused, you're enthralled, you're captivated, you're caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you are caught up in this moment. You're stunned, amazed, you're caught up with me in the clouds. And we have met in cyberspace, the air of cyberspace. So you are currently what you would refer to raptured, even though it's not in the Bible, and everybody is counting on a word that is not in the Bible. Boy, are a bunch of people set up for disappointment, huh? They are set up for disappointment because society and everything taught you that way. You didn't interpret the words correctly. Everybody thought caught up meant lifted up into the air. You turn into a white ball of light and then float up into the air. Well, that's not the case. You'll see me coming in the clouds. Not some dude levitating with light behind him and the wind blowing his hair. No, these are clouds. These are images of me in the clouds. You will see me coming in the clouds. When you do, you will be caught up with me in the clouds. We have met live in the air of cyberspace on YouTube. It's not impossible. It's not at all. All right, I love you guys. I miss you guys. That's it for tonight. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell? Love you all. Bye.